Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So in this video we are going to tackle the 2017 WASSCE Spreadsheet Practical question, which is about tracking mobile network subscribers on a yearly basis. So in this video we are going to be working with data and then using that data to calculate totals, create visual charts to compare the network to see how they are performing. So let's get right into it. Alright, so welcome back once again. And now here before us is the question. Let's read through it, then we'll get started with the solution. 2. The table below shows the registration of mobile telephone subscribers of the various network operators in a country from 2008 to 2014. 2a. Use a spreadsheet program to create the table below. 2b. Using appropriate formula, compute the column totals for each network operator, grand total of subscribers on yearly basis. And in 2c, create a bar chart to compare the subscribers on yearly basis. 2d, insert a folder with your full name. And 2e, save the workbook as subscribers in the folder created. And you're going to get 15 marks if you're able to do all these things correctly. So the first thing we'll do is now we are going to create the folder in which we'll save our workbook as subscribers in. So let's do that real quick. So my desktop, I'll just create a new folder and I'll name it with my initials and index number. So it's going to look something like this. And then the next thing I'll do is open up my spreadsheet application, which is Microsoft Excel. So I'm going to search it up real quick and open it. Okay, so it's going to look something like this. And what you want to do next is you want to create a blank workbook. So you click on that and it's going to look something like this. Okay, so now we can get started with a solution for the question. So the first part of the question is actually from 2a, which says use a spreadsheet program to create the table below. So we have our spreadsheet program on our right, and then the table in the question is on the left, and that is what we are going to create. So now let's get started. I'll zoom in a bit so that we can see what we are doing clearly. And then we start with the first cell, which is cell A1. And in cell A1, you see that we have year. So in a question, we have year. And that is what we'll type in cell A1. So let's just do that real quick. And then the next, on cell B1, we have the network operator. And under you see that we have 3 different network operators. So you're going to type all of them real quick. Nice. Then under it, you see that the data for each and every column. So for the year column, we have from 2008 all the way to 2014. So we are going to type that too real quick. So now I've typed 2 of them, and you can continue to type all the way to 2014. But I want to introduce something called autofill. So autofill is an interesting feature in Microsoft Excel because it's able to take patterns. Actually, it's able to take data and then a range of data and pick a pattern out of it, determine a pattern. So for example, in this range of data from 2008 to 2009, that is basically cell A3 and A4. The pattern here is that there's a difference of 1, or actually there's an increment of 1. So we start with 2008, then we come here to 2009, so it's just plus 1. Now when you select both like this, and then you move your mouse pointer to the green box at the bottom right, then you click hold and you drag down, you see what happens. So you can see that with autofill, we're able to fill up the data for the rest of the empty cells based on the pattern we had here. So the pattern was that, okay, just increment the value by 1. So we type 2008, we type 2009, and then it understood that, okay, so basically you just want the same thing but plus 1. So over here, 2009 plus 1 is 2010, all the way to 2014. So this is just an interesting feature. I just wanted to introduce it a bit. But if you want to know more, then you should research more. Then you understand it better. So now let's continue with the rest. So we've typed in the years. Next is the number of subscribers for this network operators. So I'm going to probably speed up this part of the video so that I don't waste your time. Alright, so as you can see, I've typed all the data that we have in the question into my spreadsheet application. But before we continue with anything else, I want to make this note. I want you guys to make sure that the the number of subscribers you've typed, make sure it is the same as what you have in the question. Because you remember when I was reading in question 2b, it says what? Using appropriate formula, compute DI column totals. So basically, we are going to be using this data to perform some calculation. We are going to calculate the total, grand total, and all that. So if one of your values is different from what you have in the question, then your total calculation would also be different, and that will give you a wrong answer, leading to you losing marks. So make sure that what you have typed here is exactly what is in the question, so that when you perform your totals, you're going to get the right answer. All right, so the next thing we want to do with our table is we want to make some few edits to it. So for example, when you look at the year, you notice that the year, the box in which the year is the largest. So we need to replicate the same thing here. Then you also notice that with the network operator, the box in which it is the longest. So you have to do the same thing in our application. So what they basically did was they merge about two or more cells, and that is the same thing we are going to do. So how do we merge cells in Microsoft Excel? So in this case, we want to merge cell A1 and cell A2 for the years box. So in order to do that, you want to select all the cells you want to merge. So in this case, cell A1 and A2, you select all. Then you make sure you're in the Home tab, locate the alignment group, and then look for the merge and center option. So that is what we have over here. So you can click on merge and center, and that will do that for us. And then after you've merged and center it, you want to also work on the alignment. You notice that in the question, the year is aligned to the top, but right now we are seeing that it has been aligned to the bottom. So basically it has been aligned to the center and bottom. So how do we fix this? In the same alignment group, you have these options here. So let me see if I can even increase. Yes. So the first option says top align. So that is what we are looking for, because it's going to align the text to the top. So you click it and you can see it has aligned the text to the top. Now at the bottom of it, you see we have left align. You click it and it's going to align the text to the left. So now you can see that it looks very similar to what we have in the question. Now let's work on the network operator. So the network operator, it is a similar concept, but this time what is happening is cell B1, C1, and D1, they have been merged. So if you look at it, you see that, okay, all these cells above have been merged into one, but below we have three cells. So one cell for the Simpson network operator, another cell for the star network operator, and then a final one for the wrap-upper network operator. So these are three cells which have been merged into one for the network operator box. So the same concept, you're going to select all the cells you want to merge, and then you merge them. So you can either select merge and center, but I'm going to click on the arrow to see the drop down menu, and I'm going to select the third option, merge cells, and that would work nicely for us. Okay. Okay, so I didn't spell the Simpson correct. There's an S at the end. So let me add that. And now you see that after I added it, we are not seeing the S completely. The problem here is that the cell width is not long enough to display the content in it. So in order to fix this, you see this in between the B column and then the C column, there's a thin vertical line. So when you move your mouse pointer over it, you notice that the icon changes. So you can double click and that will create just enough space so that you can see the content in that cell. Or you can manually drag to the left or right. So if I was to manually drag to the right, you see it would increase like this. Or to the left, you can decrease it as, so you can see it has decreased a lot. But I'll just suggest that you double click and then to create just enough space to display what is inside. Alright, so we are almost done. Now the final thing I would like to do with our table is to give it borders. So in order to do that, we are going to select the whole table, and then to give it borders, you're going to make sure you're in the Home tab, and this time we are looking at the fonts group. So in the fonts group, you see right above it we have an option here, which by default it is bottom border, but we don't want that. We want all borders. So you click on the drop down arrow, and then you locate the all borders option and click that. And that will give our table borders. Now you can see it's looking nice. So we are done with 2A, and we can move on to 2B. So now let's check it out. In 2B, using appropriate formula, compute the I column totals for each network operator. Okay, so what does this mean? Basically, it's telling us that the so basically it's telling us that we should compute the column totals for these three network operators. So that would be, what is the total sum of this number of subscribers? So these are the number of subscribers for the Simpson network operators over the year from 2008 to 2014. And what is the total of it? That is what this question is asking us to do. It's also asking us to do the same for these two other network operators. So how do we do this? First off, on cell A10, you're going to type in total. And then on cell B10, you're going to perform the formula calculation to get a sum of it all. So in order to do that, you start out with an equal to sign. Then you type in the sum function. So you're going to type SUM. And you see when you type it, it displays it over here. And then it adds a description of what it does. So now let's read it. It says, adds all the numbers in a range of cells. That is what we are looking for. So we are going to then type in an opening bracket. And then we are going to select the range of cells we want to add or to get a sum of it all. So in this case, it's going to be from cell B3 all the way to B9. Then you close it with a closing bracket and hit on enter. And we get 5,216. So it means that the column total for the Simpson network operator is this value. Now we are going to do the same thing for these two other network operators, but you don't have to type in manually. You can use autofill. So in order to use autofill, you select the one you've already done, which is what we have here. Then you move your mouse pointer to the green box at the bottom right. Now this time you're going to drag to the right. So initially we drag vertically downwards, but this time we're going to drag horizontally to the right. So you click hold and then you drag to the right. Then you release. And you can see autofill has automatically computed the sum of each and every other column. So first off, let's have a look at what is happening in this box. So double click it. And you can see that we are performing a sum of this range that is from cell B3 to B9. So that is okay. Now in order to get out of this, hit on the escape key. Now let's have a look at the second box. And now you can see what autofill has done. Autofill has done the same thing we did in cell B10, but this time it has changed it to C. So you remember it was B3 to B9, but this time it's now C3 to C9. You can even see that the selected range has been highlighted in a green, in a blue box. Yes, so okay, let me call it a blue highlighter. Yes, so you can see that it has even been highlighted in a blue box. Yes. So now let's exit and have a look at the final one. And you can see, so autofill was able to detect what we wanted to do. It saw that, okay, we performed a sum total of this range. So when we drag to the right, it did the same thing for the same range, but on a different column. So you can see that the numbers are always the same, but the column is changing. So we started in the column B, then when we came here, it became column C, but now it's column D, but the numbers are always the same. That is, or should I say the rows? So row 3 to row 9. Yes, so the numbers represent the rows, and then the alphabet represents the column. So I believe there's an understanding now. Alright, so I can say that we are done with BI. Let's have a look at BII. Using appropriate formula, compute the grand total of subscribers on yearly basis. Okay, that is interesting and simple. So first of all, let's compute the yearly basis, and then we are going to use the sum function to get a grand total of that yearly basis range. So how would we compute the yearly basis? Basically, it's the same as what we have done here, but we are going to do it for the years. So instead of column, we are going to do it for rows. So for example, instead of doing it for the Simpson network operator, we are going to say in the year 2008, what is the total number of subscribers we had? So we are going to do it on the E column. So first of all, let me give it a title. I'm going to call it yearly Okay, yearly. Okay, yearly total. Yeah, let me call it yearly total. And then just like in the year box, I'm going to merge cell E1 and E2. So I'm going to select both. Then I'll merge them. And then you can see that total is not displaying completely. So now there are different ways to fix this issue. Like I said earlier, you can double click on the thin vertical line between column E and F. And that would create just enough space so that we can see everything. But I'm going to use a different solution, which is called wrap text. So wrap text, basically it breaks extra long text into multiple lines so that you can see it all. Now, where do we get this option? You make sure you're in the Home tab, locate the alignment group. Then you can see this icon here with the A, B, and then a small arrow facing the C. So when you hover your mouse pointer over it, you can see a small description of what it does. Wrap text wraps extra long text into multiple lines so that you can see it all. So now make sure you selected the cell you want the effect to take place in. So in this case, that is the E1 cell which we've merged. Then you click on wrap text and you can see what happened. So the text was extra long, but now wrap text has broken it into multiple lines so that we can see it all. Very simple, right? Now in this column, that is where we are going to perform the yearly total calculation. So in this case, we are going to do the same thing. That is an equal to sign, the sum function, an opening bracket, and then the range we are going to select is for 2008. So these are the subscribers, the number of subscribers for the year 2008. So that is from B3 to D3. Then we close the bracket and hit on enter. So this is what we get. Now you're going to use autofill to perform the same calculation for the other years. So you're going to select you're going to move your mouse pointer over the green box, and then you click hold, then you drag down, then you release. So now you can see this will happen. If you have to look at the second one, which is on the fourth row, you can see autofill understands what we want, so it just automatically changes what needs to be changed and still gets us the total. So now this is the yearly total, and now we are going to get a sum. So the sum of this is going to be the grand total of subscribers. So over here, we are going to do the same thing, that is equal to sign, a sum keyword, open bracket, and then we are going to select this range. That will be from E3 to E9. We close the bracket and hit on enter, and we get 15,915. So that's the grand total of subscribers on a yearly basis. So we are done with 2A and 2B. Before we move on to 2C, let's add borders to this newly created data. So we are going to select this one, then we are going to click on add borders. We're going to do the same for this, add borders. Now it looks part of the table. Okay, that's nice. Now let's move on to 2C. Create a bar chart to compare subscribers on yearly basis. Interesting. So how do we do this? Um, there are different ways to go about it, but let me make it simple. So make sure that you have selected an empty cell. Don't select a cell that has a data in it. So just select an empty cell like this. Then click on the insect tab. So you click on the insect tab, locate the charts group, and then you want to click on this option which says insect column or bar chart, and then you select the first one. So now when you do that, you see we now have an empty chart, and I'll show you how to fill it in a moment. But before we do that, let's look at the question again. So it says create a bar chart to compare subscribers on yearly basis. So we have two keywords, subscribers and then yearly basis. So what this is telling us is that in our bar chart, we are only concerned about the subscribers. So that is the number of subscribers, and then we are also only concerned about the years. So that is from 2008 to 2014. We are not concerned about, let me increase this a bit. We are not concerned about things like the yearly total or the total year. We're only concerned about from year 2008 to 2014, and then the number of subscribers. We're also concerned about the network operator because the subscribers on its own, it doesn't have a meaning. The network operator is what gives it a meaning. If I come and tell you 764, you'll be like, what has the number done? But if I tell you star network operator has 764 subscribers, so you can see that the star network operator or the name star itself, it gives meaning to the numbers. So we need to include the three network operators, then the number of subscribers, as well as the year. We don't care about the total or the yearly total for our bar chart. So that is what I want to make clear. Now that I've done that, let's click on the empty bar chart you created. And it's going to create two new tabs. So you notice that at the top of your ribbon, you see you have chart design and then we have format. But we are concerned about the chart design tab. So you select that one. Then you locate the data group. So this is the data group. And then we have an option, select data. So you click that. So this option basically is going to allow us to select the data we want to see in our bar chart. And that is very good. So the first option we have here is what? Chart data range. So that is the data itself that we are working on. So in this case, it's going to be the number of subscribers. So you're going to click on this option to the right, and then you're going to select the range. So that is from B3 all the way to D9. So that is the range that I'm selecting. Then you just click it again over here, and now you can see it is already reflecting our bar chart. Good. Now now we have the legend entry series, and then we have the horizontal category axis labels. So we also have to change that, because remember I was saying that we are concerned about the year, but we are not seeing it in our bar chart. And we are also concerned about these three network operators. So that is what we are going to do next. So in the series, we are going to change it to the three network operators. So yes, so we are going to select the first one. Then I'm going to click on edit. Now it's going to ask for the series name. So you are going to select the first one, which is the Simpson network operator. So when you select it, it's going to select this, it's going to display the cell reference for it, and click on OK. Now you can see we have Simpson has been displayed here. Select the second one, edit, and we are going to select the star network operator and click on OK. Then we are going to do the same for the third, edit, wrap OK. Now for the horizontal, this is where the years is supposed to be displayed. So instead of 1 to 7, it's supposed to be 2008 to 2014. So you're going to edit that, and then we are going to select the axis label range, that is from A3 to A9. And you can see that it's already reflecting. Then click on OK. Then you can also click on OK. That's good. So you can see now the selected data has been highlighted. This is all we care about for our chart. But we are not done. I want to you can see that the three network operators has not been displayed. Even though they've been selected, we are not seeing them. So in order to make them visible, you see this plus icon at the top, which is the chart element. So it is used to add and remove elements from your chart. So you're going to click it. Then you're going to see this small pop-up box, whether to your left or right. You want to locate the legend. So you can see it's the last but one. And then the checkbox right next to it, you want to click it. You want to check it basically. And you see when you check it, now we are seeing the three network operators, the Simpson, which is represented in the blue color, the star in the orange color, and then the Rapapa in the gray color. So you can see it has been displayed nicely. You can also change the position of it. So you can see right now it has been positioned to the right. You can change it to the left, the top, or the bottom. And I prefer the bottom. So how do we do that? Right, you hover your mouse pointer over the legend. Then you can see that there is an arrow there. So click it. And you can see we have right, top, left, bottom. So I'm going to select the bottom option. And then that is going to be what it will look like. And then I'm also going to check the box for the axis title. So the axis title is the second option. So you click that. Nice. So when we check it, you can see that now we have a new element that has been added. And I'm going to change the name of it. So for the first one, which is for the x-axis, I'm going to call it years. And then I'm going to select and bold in it. And then for the y-axis, I'm going to call it subscribers. I'm also going to bold in it. And now it's looking nice. Then I would also suggest you change your chart title. So I'm going to name it something like subscribers on yearly basis. Yeah. And I'm also going to bold in it. So this is what your bar chart should look like. You can see it's looking neat and nice. If you hover over it, you can see You can see that the details are being displayed. So this is what it's supposed to look like. And I can say we are now done with 2C. So we can move on to 2D. Let's have a look at what 2D says. So in 2D, it says insert a footer with your full name. Okay, that is simple. So in order to do that, you, you go to the insert tab. So this is the insert tab, and then you locate the last but one group, which is the text group. So that is what we have here. Then you can see that the second option is what? Header and footer. So you click that. And then it's going to take you to the header by default. But remember the question said we should add a footer with our full name. So in the navigation group, we have what? Go to footer. So that is what we want. You click that and that will take you to the footer. And now that is where you type in your full name. So you just type it in, whatever your full name is. So I'm going to type in John Winner, and I'm just going to click on inner space. Yes, so you can see now John Winner has been displayed here. Now, in order to return back to the normal view, at the bottom, you see that there are three options: the normal view, page layout, and then page break view. So you want to select the first one, the normal view, and that will take you back to the normal view. So in the normal view, you cannot view your header or footer. But let's say that you are uncertain that, okay, I've placed in my header or footer and you want to confirm. So it's very simple. You can just try printing your document. So not necessarily print it, but as if you are going to do it. So press the shortcut Ctrl+P, and that will take you to the print preview. So you can see that this is what our paper will look like when we print it. But what we are trying to do is to see that, okay, we've added a footer. And you can see that in the print preview, we can see our footer at the bottom, John Winner. So this shows that the footer we entered has been, like, we entered it correctly. It didn't disappear or anything. Now, for those that maybe were struggling to type in the Ctrl+P shortcut, then you can just go to File. So you click on File, the File menu, and then it's going to take you to the backstage view of the application. Then you locate the print option, and that will also take you to the print preview, and you can also see that our photo has been displayed. So that is simple. So now we are done with almost everything. We are done with everything. It's just the last one, which says save the workbook as subscribers in the folder created. Okay, so that is simple. In order to do that, you go to the print tab once again, and this time you locate save as. Now you're going to browse. You're going to browse the location of your folder, which is going to be on your desktop. So you're going to click on the browse option here. Then you locate the folder. So mine is on my desktop. I'm going to double click that folder so that I enter it. And then over here, the file name is going to be subscribers instead of book one. So make sure you type in subscribers and then you click on save. And that will do just that for us. So to confirm that we've saved our workbook in the folder, let's check the folder. So I'm going to minimize all this and then let's open it up. And you can see we have subscribers has been saved in the folder we just created. So yes, that is the solution to this question we have here. I hope it was easy to understand. And so if this video was useful, please don't forget to support this channel by giving this video a thumbs up, hit on the subscribe button and the bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. So see you guys in the next video and bye for now.